The Davido custody battle, what really happened in court. What started as a quiet custody dispute between one of Nigeria's biggest music stars and the mother of his daughter has now exploded into one of the messiest public legal dramas we've seen in recent memory. And today, we're breaking it all down. The court drama, the social media meltdown, and the very important lessons hidden inside all of this chaos. Let's go. For those just catching up, Davido? Yes, the Davido had been in a legal battle seeking joint custody of his daughter with Sophia. The parties were given an opportunity to resolve things outside of court through what lawyers call ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution. Think of it as a structured, private conversation where both sides try to find common ground without a judge having to step in. It didn't work. A DR failed. Both parties couldn't agree, and so the case went right back to the courtroom, where a judge would now have to make the call. Then came the courtroom explosion. Here's where things got really ugly. During proceedings, Sophia's lawyer, in an attempt to challenge Davido's fitness as a parent, brought up one of the most painful moments of his life, the tragic death of his young son. The argument, essentially, was if he's such a capable parent, how did this happen? Now, anyone with a heart can understand why that would cut deep. Davido lost his child. That kind of grief doesn't go away. And to have it weaponized in a courtroom, in front of a judge, as a tool to undermine you, that is a brutal, brutal moment. And Davido understandably snapped. He exploded. He insulted the lawyer directly in court, and when the judge asked him to apologize, he refused. The social media fallout. If the courtroom outburst wasn't enough, Davido took it straight to social media. He came out hard, clarifying that he never asked for full custody, only joint custody. He insisted nobody won, nobody lost. He called out the lawyer by name, said he disgraced her in court, that he was teaching her her own job. He even posted a photo of a young man he thought was the lawyer's son, insulting him publicly. Except the young man wasn't her son at all. He was just an upcoming musician trying to make ends meet, completely blindsided by one of the biggest artists in Africa coming for him online. To his credit, Davido apologized quickly, but the damage? Already done. Here's what the law says. Let's step back from the emotion for a moment and talk facts. What Davido did in that courtroom has a legal name, contempt of court. And it is not a small thing. Contempt of court is one of the very few offenses that can result in immediate summary imprisonment. No filing, no long process, straight to a cell. He was fortunate he had a judge who showed restraint. Not every judge would. But beyond the legal risk, there's a more strategic problem here. Child custody cases are not decided by who shouts loudest or who makes the most passionate speech. Judges in custody matters are watching for one thing above everything else: who can provide the most stable, safe, and nurturing environment for this child. When a parent explodes in court, regardless of the provocation, it sends a signal. It says, this person struggles to control their emotions under pressure. And in a custody battle, that is exactly the kind of signal you do not want to send. The court doesn't know Davido at home. They don't know his warmth, his love for his children, his generosity. They only know what they see in that room. And what they saw the day was not a calm, composed, child-focused parent. What they saw was someone who lost control. Here's the harder truth. The case wasn't even over. Judgment had not been given. He still had a real chance. The judge hadn't decided anything yet. And then he chose that moment to implode both in court and online, painting himself as someone unstable, right when he needed to appear the opposite. Should that point have been raised at all? This is the question everyone's been asking. As a human being, as a parent, absolutely not. What happened to Davido's son can happen to any parent. Tragedy does not discriminate. It does not mean you are irresponsible. It does not mean you are unfit. Children, especially toddlers, find danger in split seconds, no matter how many adults are present, no matter how many precautions are made. 6 or 7 adults were assigned to care for that child. What more could be asked? The people quickest to judge on social media are almost always people without children of their own. Because every parent knows, every honest parent knows that keeping a toddler safe is a full-time miracle. But as a matter of law, the courtroom operates differently from real life. As a matter of law, the courtroom operates differently from real life. Lawyers are not there to be kind, they are there to win. And if a fact, no matter how painful, can be used to support their client's position, they are trained to use it. Courts are adversarial by design. Each side probes the other's weaknesses, and the judge weighs it all. Was it morally right? That's for you to decide. Was it legally permissible? Unfortunately, yes. The takeaway. Whether you're watching this as a Davido fan, as someone going through your own custody situation, or simply as someone trying to understand how family courts work, here's what this case teaches us. Courtrooms are not the place for emotional wins. Social media is not your legal strategy. And the moment you lose your composure in front of a judge, especially in a custody case, you hand the other side a gift. Davido may love his daughter deeply. That much seems clear. But love alone doesn't win custody. Conduct does. Composure does. Consistency does. The fight for Imade is not over, but how it continues and how he carries himself from here will matter more than anything he's already said or done. If you found this breakdown helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Davido keep fighting for custody, or is it time to find a different path forward? I'd love to know what you think.